AskMeDIY.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to change a regular toggle switch out, on, off, to a dimmer switch. Real simple, real easy. A lot of people will get a little intimidated on the dimmer switches and all kinds of different remote controls, whatever. They're really all installed the very same way. There's a little box on it compared to a regular switch. It's just a switch with a couple of screws with wires, which we'll show you in a second. But on these, there's this little box, and it's just electronics in it, no big deal. You got a green wire. This is your ground wire, and you'll have two black wires. Now, some switches, like our ones with the remote controls that you have, maybe one for a fan, perhaps, you'll have a load side and an input side. Well, in dimmer switches, especially ones like this, where you just hit the button and then turn, it doesn't really matter. You just have two black wires. And what we're going to do, we're going to connect these to the wires on the switch and, of course, the ground. So let's go ahead and take this apart, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, so I'm just going to finish unscrewing this plate and pull the plate away. And there's our two switches. Now this is the one we want to replace with the dimmer. And I was simply unscrew the two screws here so we can pull the switch out. Hello. And see what we got. Now a lot of times you may not have enough room in the box to put a dimmer switch. Just give that a nice pull. See what we got here. It's like the painters here really painted over our wires. Alright. Alright. You pull the plate off. You took the two screws out for the switch. So I pull the switch out as much as we can. Actually, we can't pull it out that much, which not so good. Okay. These are our two power switches. Now, again, here I'm touching them. I went and turned the power off, and that's something you should do yourself. So I'm going to take these two wires off by these two screws, of course. And we're going to connect, pretty tight, we're going to connect these two wires, these two black wires rather, to the two wires on our new dimmer switch. Wow. It's very tight. Okay, so that's how you... Alright, I went and disconnected our switch, and these are our two wires that were on it. Now, usually they're both going to be black. We have a power coming in and we have power going out. But I really don't know which ones are which. It could be the opposite way around. In that case, we'd have to use a voltage tester and to test it with the power on, of course. Now, if you look at our leads that are coming off, these are the ones I pulled off the screws. Usually I like to just cut them right off and strip the wire and make new exposed on the wire itself. But this box, whoever was the electrician here before, they really didn't give us enough room here to do that, so I want to try to save it. However, the wires are they're too much. They're just too long coming out, and the wire cap will not cover that. I mean, look at that. Put the cap on there and you still have exposed wire, so we don't want that. So we're going to cut them down just a little bit. We're going to leave them maybe about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch long, something like that. I prefer something like that. Now we have a solid wire, which you're going to find in most houses, but on the dimmer switch we have a braided wire, and that's fine. So just going to wrap it around like that, making sure that when you wrap that wire around, the end of the braided wire is extended out. You don't want it all crammed up in there. You're going to put your wire nut on there, it's not going to work. You want to have it something like that, both of them pretty equal out, and just get your wire nut there, screw it on. And you want to screw these on tight. If it doesn't tighten down real good and tight, well, something's wrong. Normally your wire cap there, or wire nut, whatever you want to call it, it's just too big, so you might want to get a smaller one. In this case, our dimmer switch actually came with a few of them. Again, just like that. Again, you want to really crank down on these nuts. You want to make sure that they are nice and tight. And I went ahead and I did the ground wire earlier. That's in there just as well. Okay, so they're tight. I'm happy with that. But now, look at the size of this dimmer switch compared to the switch we pulled out. I mean, that's a big difference. So you really we want to make sure we have some room. We're going to push these wires all the way in, being careful. You know, we're not destroying anything in there. Push them all in. Some switches will have an indicator on there saying which way is up or top. And there we go. This one says top right there. So we're going to just place it right in the box just like that. And you know, of course it's going to want to come back out because we didn't put the screws in yet. But you don't want to have to force that in there, by no means. What you want to do is just, again, push those wires in there. Make sure they're not obstructing your switch going in. And the switch kind of just lays there nice and freely. That's really, really important. And you just put the 2 screws back in. And we'll turn the power on. And basically, that's pretty much it. Now, if you notice on any switch or an outlet, if it's a single switch or a single outlet, it's not a big deal of where you place them. Yeah, you want them straight, you don't want them all crooked. But remember, we have a plate that we're going to put back over this, and we want these to line up pretty good. We don't want it to be off to the side there where it won't go on at all. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll square all these up and straighten them out and put that cover back on. Alright, got the cover back on. What I do, I just put the screws in by hand. Make sure they go in by hand. Make sure things are lined back up. Because you don't want to just put the screw in and start screwing it and forcing it in. Because if it's not lined up properly, well, you're going to have a problem. You know, the screw is aluminum. It's not a very strong screw. And you don't want to end up stripping it and breaking it. Because then you get another problem. Again, when I put these screws in, I don't crank them down. I mean, this is only a plastic cover. We don't want the screws going through and cracking it all up. But what I like to do, just as a professional, I like to line up all the screws just nice up and down. I think it looks better and all that. And there's our dimmer switch. And put our cap on it. And there you go. The dimmer switch is almost complete. Almost, because we didn't turn the power back on to see what happens. So let me go turn the power on and we'll be right back. I went ahead and turned the power on. Our switch is working and it does dim. Yes, it does. It works good. Well, pretty simple. Just make sure you turn the power off before you do anything, because if you don't, you might be picking these up off the floor. Don't want to chance that. I gotten shocked many times. Obviously, my eyeballs always stayed in my head. And, you know, hey, safety, man, safety. Anyway, that's how you do it. I'm Dominic from AskMeDIY.com. Thanks for watching.